So, if you guys haven't seen yet, just this morning they announced the sequel to Kirby Air Ride, which is one of my absolute favorite games for the GameCube. So right now I'm gonna look through the trailer and analyze it, see what things I find as a big fan of the original game and Kirby as a whole. This introductory scene is really cool. It just really leaves you in suspense as to what it actually is. Some people, when they saw this at first, thought it was Smash Bros. Um, they did already have a Kirby game revealed earlier in this Nintendo Direct, being the updated version, I guess you'd say, of Kirby and the Forgotten Land. So here you can see the air ride sort of shoot out a jet in the behind it. That's something that also happened in the GameCube air ride, even though it's a little less obvious because that was much lower resolution. So here, this looks like it is the default course, I guess, the first one you do. I think that was Beanstalk Park in the original GameCube game, and you can see Kirby's on the regular air ride, the Warp Star. The Warp Star's been a part of Kirby since the very beginning, and is how he gets from zone to zone within the level. It's basically your loading screen. And so Kirby Air Ride for the GameCube was initially a racing game, a four-player racing game where the only controls were the control stick to steer and A, which functioned as brake, drift, and boost. So it was very interesting, even though the control was so I guess, simple, it still had a lot of strategic depth, and you could get very, very good at the game, even though there weren't a lot of buttons. Just the fact that you could drift tight around corners was a lot of fun, I think. Plus, City Trial, peak gaming. Um, City Trial was a game mode in which you, for 5 minutes, you and three other players run around a city, try to collect power ups, namely stat boosts, and then compete in a final battle, which would either be a race, some sort of versus mode, maybe versus King DDD, glide, um, destruction derby, stuff like that. And it was sort of returned in Super Smash Bros. For the 3DS, except this was single player only, and it was sort of like um, City Trial in that you ran around this maze where you collected power ups, but just because it wasn't quite as interactive, the maze portion of the 3DS Smash was not multiplayer, so that made it a little less interesting, even though you could clearly see the inspiration it took from City Trial. Um, and it's a little concerning that this trailer doesn't make any reference to that, but I imagine just because, effectively there's 20 seconds of actual content in this. Most of it is just Kirby on the Warp Star. Um, I do like the aesthetic. The flowers, the flower petals, and the grassland. It's very, very Kirby, and it reminds me a lot of the old Air Ride game. And so here you can see there are 4 players. This was how it was in GameCube, only 4 players. Now, it will be a little bit disappointing if Kirby Air Riders is only 4 players, as that was one of the biggest, I guess, areas where it could be improved from the GameCube game, because the city is very large, and really it was the GameCube's limited hardware that prevented it from um, playing more than 4 people at a time. I really think that in, increasing that to 8 or even 12 could work very well for Kirby Air Riders. Make a big city, lots of places to hide, fight, collect power ups, secrets to unlock, just explore in general. And that was a lot of fun back in the day. Looking at new air rides, trying to find out which ones would get you where. Um, and so here we see 3 other stars that Kirby can ride. So these are all returning from the original GameCube Kirby Air Ride. The one on the top right is the Wing Star. It's flying. This is the one that was the best at gliding. So if you knew that there was going to be a glider challenge at the end of City Trial, the Wing Star is the one that you wanted. The pink one over here is called the Wagon Star. This one was definitely a favorite of mine back in the day. Um, its gimmick, I suppose you would say, is that it has very good speed, good durability, good handling. However, the major downside is that it cannot boost. So when you drift around a corner, you really just slow to a stop. You don't get that Mario Kart type drift boost. And then the one sort of in the foreground is Wheelie Scooter. So Wheelie Scooter is interesting because if you don't know, all of the air rides in Kirby Air Ride were effectively the same thing, only with different parameters, different stats. You know, handling, boost, charge, glide, offense and defense, those sorts of things were all adjusted while the core mechanics remained the same. The only exception was for the wheelie bikes, which included the wheelie scooter, as you can see here, the Rex wheelie, and there was another one, I think it was like the mini wheelie that had really good handling and jump, but poor top speed. So it's really cool that they're bringing that back as well. Now, I really will be disappointed if this game is only 4 players. I really think that increasing the number of players, especially because even in the GameCube game, there were, I want to say, there were 8 different colors of Kirby that you could choose from. So even just that, the potential has always been there. And being able to realize it in 4K with Masahiro Sakurai, by the way, we'll get to that um, in just a moment. Gosh, that's so cool. The game is so pretty. And the music's great too. I just don't want to play it for fear of getting copyrighted. Kirby Air Riders. Sure, I don't really know how I feel about the name, but it's just a name, right? Anything with Kirby Air Ride is going to be awesome. And the absolute greatest reveal, this is the first game that Sakurai has returned to direct in the Kirby series since Kirby Air Ride on the GameCube. That's insane. It was his last Kirby game that he directed. Now, he was brought on as, I guess, a sort of advisor or producer um, in, I believe it was some of the DS games. It might have been Squeak Squad. However, the fact that he's returning to the series after I think his last major game for Nintendo was Kid Icarus Uprising, and that was like 2017 or 18, I want to say, well after Smash Bros. For 3DS had released, I think. So just the fact that he's back it's really really promising. No real confirmed release date, just the fact that it's coming out this year. You know, Hollow Knight Silksong got the same deal today, sometime in 2025. Sora and HAL Laboratory. If you don't know, HAL Laboratory is the company that Sakurai started back in the 90s and is the one with the rights to Kirby. Sora Limited is the company currently run by Sakurai that produces games like Super Smash Bros. So, yeah, that's all I have for the analysis of this trailer. Very, very short trailer. I'm amazed I was able to get 8.5 minutes out of it. So, if you're excited, leave a comment. Tell me anything that I might have missed in here. Because if there's anything I missed, I really want to know it.